The dawn of the third era. Messages and signs all around the world. Revelations of Jesus Christ, 1884 to 1950. The first revelation. Thus saith the Lord. This is a day of commemoration. On a day like this, I consecrated my first spokesmen to make known through them my new commandments and my new revelations. The spirit of Elijah vibrated through Roque Rojas to remind you of the pathway that is the law of God. The moment was solemn. The spirits of those present were trembling from fear and anticipation, as was the heart of Israel at Mount Sinai when the law was promulgated. And as the disciples were trembling on Mount Tabor as they beheld the transfiguration of Jesus, while Moses and Elijah appeared in spirit to the right and left of the Master. That first day of September 1866 was the birth of a new era, the dawn of a new day, the third era which was opened before humanity. From that moment, and without stopping, many prophecies and many promises made by God to men thousands of years ago have been coming true. It has come to pass in you, men and women who inhabit this world in this era. Who among you was on this earth when those prophecies were spoken and when those promises were made? Only I know that, but the important thing is that you know that I promised it to you and that I am fulfilling it. Do you remember that cloud in which my disciples saw me ascend the last time that I manifested myself to them? In truth, it was written that I would come again in a cloud, and this I have fulfilled. On the 1st of September 1866, my spirit came in a symbolic cloud to prepare you to receive the new lesson. Later, in 1884, I began to give you my teachings. I did not arrive as a man, but rather spiritually contained in a ray of light to dwell within human understanding. This is the means chosen by my will to speak to you in this era, and I will take into account the faith that you deposit in this word. Because in this era, it will not be Moses who guides you through the desert in search of the promised land, nor Christ made man who makes you hear his word of life as the pathway to salvation and freedom. It is now the human voice of these beings which comes to your ears, and it is necessary to spiritualize yourself to find the divine essence where I am present. It is therefore that I tell you that there is merit in believing in this word, because it is given through imperfect beings. In 1866, the first congregation of spiritualists, disciples of this doctrine, was born. Under the light of my spirit and oriented by Elijah, those first children began to receive the inklings of a message, which now, at its ending, you are receiving in abundance. Messages and signs all around the world. Elijah, who would come first to prepare the pathway of the Lord, manifested himself for the first time through a human speaker in 1866. Do you wish to dictate a few moments to investigate the signs and events that took place in all its sequence and coincided with the period of that manifestation? Again, it will be the men of science who will study the stars, those who in ancient times were called the wise men, those who will testify that the heavens have given signs that are divine voices. Do not think that this location on earth, where I am presently manifesting myself, is the only place where I am presenting myself to my children. For verily I say to you, that my manifestation is universal in various forms. Elijah, who manifested himself to you prior to my manifestation through human spokesmen, did not come only to this nation where you live, Mexico. He went from one place to another throughout the earth, announcing the arrival of a new era, and also informing humanity that the kingdom of heaven would soon descend upon mankind. Voices appeared from everywhere, announcing my arrival to you. Nature in turmoil shook the earth. Science was amazed before new revelations. The spiritual valley descended upon men, and in spite of that, humanity remained deaf before those voices that announced a new era. A torrent of divine light descended to save men from the darkness. But they, selfish and materialistic, far from aspiring to the perfection of the Spirit and the moral improvement of their lives on earth, took that light to build thrones and glories, material comforts and pleasures, and when they thought necessary, arms to destroy the lives of their fellow men. Their eyes were blinded in the intensity of my light, and their vanity caused them to become lost. Yet, I tell you, by that same light, they shall find the truth, find the way, and be saved. Those who have known how to truly receive this light as a divine message have allowed their conscience to guide their steps and their deeds, for they had a presentiment that the Lord has returned and that He is among men. The representatives of the various sects and religions have not wanted to receive me. Their hearts, their dignity, and their false grandeur prevents them from accepting me in spirit. For that reason, groups have been formed during this era on this earth, which consist of brotherhood and congregations who feel the presence of the new era. Those who seek solitude to pray and to receive inspirations of the Lord. There are religions that are getting prepared for my new coming, not knowing that I am already saying farewell. I called everyone, and in truth, my call and the rumor that I am communicating with mankind arrived to every corner of the earth, accompanied by testimonies and evidence that speak of me. Redeemed sinners, converted unbelievers, resurrections of the dead, the terminally ill who are healed, and the possessed who are freed from their bondage. But I found many of them deaf, others vain in their earthly glory, and yet others fearful of knowing of my manifestation as the Spirit of truth. I received and taught the ones who came to me, trusting in my love. People of other lands shall come to this people, multitudes anxious to ask you of the spiritual happenings that you have witnessed in this era, as well as of the revelations and prophecies that I have given you. For in many parts of the world, my messages have been received that say that in a place in the West, my divine ray has descended to speak in this era to humanity. You shall see how, when the time comes, other people and nations shall come looking for you. And then men from the great religions shall be surprised that it is not them whom I came looking for. How little my new manifestation interests the world. How few are the ones who keep vigil and are waiting for me. And how many are the ones who sleep? Many are waiting for my return, Yet not all perceive my true spiritual presence during this era. Some, because of their old belief, think that I will return as a man. Others believe that I will return in a manner visible to the material eye. Only a few are aware of the true nature of my return, which is spiritual. Some ask and wonder what form I will take, what day and time I will arrive, or where I will appear. Others, without thinking of material forms, times or places, say to themselves, "The Master is already among us, and his spiritual enlightenment surrounds us." When this message comes to all the hearts of men, to some it will be a joyful present, for it will confirm all their presentiments and their faith. In contrast, others will deny the truth of my message upon not finding it in agreement with what they thought it would be, and not manifested in the form they expected.